this video, I'm going to show you step by step how to make a custom dress form so that you can make perfectly fitting clothes for yourself at home. To start, you want to grab your favorite undergarments and put them under some fitting clothes. For some, this could mean wearing a corset like I am here, or putting on your favorite bra because it provides you with the most support. From there, you want to take some plastic wrap and begin wrapping yourself in it. This will protect you from the adhesive on the duct tape, which we'll get to in the next step. Because I'm doing this by myself, I'm starting around the hips, and I'm gonna work my way up to my midriff and then eventually work my way up to my bust. I'm trying my best to create separation between each boob so that we can properly see the depth rather than having just one flat overall circumference. This helps especially if you struggle with finding clothes that fit your body but not your cup size. I highly recommend having a person assist you during this process. I'm doing it by myself to show you how you can do it if you don't have someone available, but the goal would be to cover your body entirely in a plastic wrap so your body does not stick to the duct tape in this next step here. It is also at this step that I realized that I was running low on duct tape, so if you are doing this at home, caution to buy more duct tape than less. Here I use 3 rolls, and on average I'm about a US 12, 14, 16 depending on the store that I am buying from, so use that as a gauge for when you are buying your supplies at home. The next step is to mark your style lines. I'm going to do the center front, center back, princess seam, waist, and also around the cup, and then carefully take my scissors and cut open the center front seam. I was having a little trouble getting the duct tape mold off because I was doing it by myself, so I cut open a seam in the shoulder for me to slide it off. But this is why it can be extremely helpful to have someone assist you, because you don't want to rip off your skin like I did here. But if you did it successfully, you should have a cast like this one, and what I'm doing is just modifying the marks that I did on my body. For me, when I wear clothes, there's usually too much fabric in the back, meaning the torsos are really long on store-bought clothes, and I want to accommodate for that by raising my waist up just a hair. I'm going to start from the back because usually it is the back that has the excess fabric, and so I'm going to carry that waistline to the front. Next, I'm going to put in that back princess seam, and I'm going to add a style line going into the armpit for the back and the front princess seam, and this is going to help me just keep a consistent line for garments that I don't want to carry that princess seam all the way into the shoulder. Lastly, I'm going to divide the cup into some standard sections. This is going to allow us to keep the full form shape once we go to sew the dress form. Next, you want to take some scissors and cut the mold open, following the lines that you just marked, and being sure to label the patterns so that you don't confuse them later. Next, you can see that I am arranging the patterns on a cutting mat so that I can take a picture and then upload them onto my computer to edit them digitally. I use Adobe Illustrator to trace, and then I import them into a 3D design software called Clo 3D to do mockups and true up the patterns that way. The next step is to cut out your fabric. We're going to be using your typical cotton muslin, and then we're also going to be using this cotton batting, which is usually used for quilting, but we're going to use it for this dress form to add a little bit of structure so it's easier for us to stuff and put our pins in. With this dress form, I want to be extremely accurate, so I'm going to use a fabric marker and I'm going to trace all of my pattern just to get the most accurate cut. You don't have to do this, you can just pin your patterns to the fabric and cut out, but for me it's a little bit easier and more precise because I use an electric cutter to get through all of the layers, but by all means use whatever technique is best for you. Next, I'm going to use some temporary adhesive to spray the cotton batting. I'm doing this so that I can basically glue the muslin to the cotton batting to give it structure. You could baste all these layers by hand, but temporary adhesive is a great alternative. Now that all of the pieces are prepped, it is time to sew, and I'm going to start with the skirt. I'm going to sew all of the princess seams together, side seams together, leaving the center back seam open. Next, I'm going to take the garment over to the iron and press open the seams. This is going to allow me to do a top stitch on either side to keep the seam allowance down when we do stuff it. Moving on to the bodice, I'm going to sew in sections, one being the center front panel and then the second being the side front panel. For the side front panel, I'm going to take the pattern pieces that make up the cup and sew those first. After sewing, you can take it over to the iron and press open the seams, or you can do like I'm doing and you can finger press them open. I'm going to top stitch to keep the garment consistent with the skirt, and then I am going to attach the cut pieces to the shoulder and the midriff. So when you go to attach the midriff, it's going to look like the pattern pieces don't fit. And that's just because there's so much curve in the cut pattern to accommodate for a larger bust. So to make it easier for us to sew, we're going to cut into the seam allowance of the midriff pattern. This is going to relax the curve that it has and become a straight line so that it's easier for us to sew to the other curve of the pattern piece. Take your time when you sew this part. I think the most important thing is not to look too far ahead. I try to concentrate on exactly where the needle is, just because there is so much curve in the fabric ahead. So just focusing on where that needle is and making sure that I pivot the fabric in the right direction, it usually comes out just fine. The next step is to work on the center front panel, and I'm going to do exactly like we did the last one and work on the cup pieces first. From there, I am going to do a top stitch, and then we will attach the cup pieces to the shoulder and midriff. If I didn't mention this before, I am sewing everything at a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and for the top stitch I'm getting as close as possible to the seam, so I would say about a 1/16 of an inch, at most an 1/8 of an inch. When I go to sew the cup to the midriff and the shoulder piece, I'm actually going to connect the shoulder and midriff together first, so that when I sew the cup to it, it's just in one big swoop. I find that it is easier to keep everything flat as much as possible and then sew your curves together, and this is just an example of how I do that. Same as the other curve, I'm going to snip into the seam allowance just so that it's a little bit easier to maneuver, and then I'm going to pin it together in place and sew again at 1/2 inch seam allowance. Here you can see how we are trying to keep the garment as flat as possible. Now we're going to sew the center front and side front so that we get the full bodice. I do want to note that this princess seam was a little tricky to sew, and that's because there was just so many layers of fabric right at that apex point. So I highly recommend using a heavy duty needle for this project. I think I was using 110/18 needle, and that is just good for any thick fabric, something like denim, something like vinyl, in this case cotton with cotton batting. I sewed the back half of the bodice off camera just because it's the same process as what we have been doing, sewing at a 1/2 inch seam allowance and then doing a top stitch. But after you have the back and you have the front and bodice completed, I'm taking the right and left and sewing them together down the center front, again at 1/2 inch seam allowance, and then top stitching so that we can keep all of the seams consistent. From there, I'm placing it on a dress form just so I can measure the armholes that are still left open. I didn't pattern this because I wasn't sure how big they were going to be, but I'm just taking a ruler and I'm gauging the height, also gauging the width, and then drawing an oval shape to make a pattern. From there, I'm going to do the same process, trace with a fabric marker, and then cut using my electric cutter, and then basting with the temporary adhesive so that it has the same structure as all of the other pieces. Just like before, I'm going to take some scissors and snip into the seam allowance of the bodice so that it's a little bit easier to attach to the circle armhole. Once you're done, you should have something that looks a little like this, and you'll just repeat this process for the other armhole. The next thing you want to do is take the circumference of the neckline. I am then transferring that measurement over to muslin and batting to create the height of the neck, and then I'm going to draw out a circle that has that same circumference so that I can attach it at the top. To sew this, I'm actually going to sew the neckband first to the dress form, and that is because it'll just be a little bit easier keeping everything flat. And then when I go to sew the circle to the neckband, I'm just gonna make sure that I keep a 1/2 inch seam allowance at that center back seam so that we can close it off later. When you get to the end, just remember, keep that 1/2 inch seam allowance so that we can sew the center back seam closed. But before you do sew that center back seam closed, I forgot to mention, you do want to attach your skirt to your bodice. And then you're good to go. Next, you want to take a scrap piece of cardboard and cut it to the same size as your neck hole and put it in there for a little bit of structure. After that, you want to take some stuffing and stuff your dress form. I use about 40 ounces, which is the exact amount of this bag that I got from Joann's. But by all means, please use as much or as little stuffing as you think will best replicate your body. I've noticed that adding more filler and making it firm actually adds a few more inches than what I had intended. So use your best judgment. Take a measuring tape and frequently measure how much of a difference it is adding or subtracting to your overall measurement. The last part in this construction is to grab another scrap piece of cardboard and draw out a shape that matches the bottom circumference of the hip. I'm marking a center circle so that we can cut it out, and that will be exactly where the pole sits when we create the stand in the next step. Right now you can see that I am attaching the dress form to the cardboard using a regular stapler. I think a longer one would have been better for this scenario, but this is all that I had on hand, so I'm sure you can use it as well too. Moving on to the stand, I am marking 3 equidistant lines so that it's a little bit easier for me to place the casters onto this so that it moves around easily. I am using a drill to pre-drill holes before I go ahead and drill in the screws. But if you want to know all of the materials that I use for this project, make sure you check out the description below because I have links for everything. And while you're there, Leave me a comment if you found this video helpful or you want to see more content like this. Next, I'm taking some spray paint and I am spraying the PVC pipe. I wanted to make sure that the dress form was about the same height as me when I put it on the stand. So I made sure I got an extra PVC pipe to then cut it down to size so that it will be the same height. Next, I'm just spray painting the wooden panel so that I can then mark the center. Then I'm going to attach a floor flange. Such a weird thing to say, floor flange. Floor flange. I'm going to attach a floor flange so that then I can insert the PVC pipe and then assemble the dress form. Right now I'm attaching the male adapter of the PVC pipe, and this is what we're going to put the poles into. And then from there, I'm just going to take a mallet to make sure that it's snug, and then I'm going to put the connector in between this pole and the next one. And you'll continue this until you get your desired height for the dress form. Lastly, you're just going to plop your dress form onto the stand. Now I will say, out of all the dress forms that I own, this one could be a little bit more stable. In retrospect, I think I would have got one more caster, making 4 caster wheels total. I think it would level it out a little bit and prevent me from tilting the dress form as I work on it. But overall, I think she's amazing, and I can't wait to make clothes that fit my body, and I hope that this video was helpful enough for you to make your own and make clothes for yourself too.